219! 219!
Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola on 312 Sports.
Let's talk Bears on Forward Progress. Dan Bernstein, Matt Abaticola, and the 0-2 Bears now will reconvene for practice after their day off. First normal week that they've had with a Sunday to Sunday interval here. Now with the opportunity to come home on national TV, once again, the featured game, and try to beat a team that is as bad, if not worse, at defense than they are.
Yeah, it's as of right now, looking at the numbers, they're equally as bad. And Dan, since 1970, 400 teams have started the season with an 0-2 record. 38 of those teams have reached the playoffs. That's 9.5%. So the odds of making the playoffs starting 0-2 are quite low. Since 1990, let's go a little sooner, 32 of the 279 teams have made the playoffs. So you're right around 10% chance of making the playoffs after starting 0-2. But yeah, the Dallas Cowboys are, statistically speaking, just as bad, slightly better than the Bears from what the numbers tell us as far as their defense is concerned.
Well, they're uniquely bad for a team that runs the defense that they run. It's the Matt Eberflus defense, and he's been relatively successful even with the Bears in playing a bend but not break style. And they're bend and break at this point because the whole idea of the Tampa 2 is to force a team to march down the field with a lot of plays and very few mistakes and make sure that you get every chance as a defense to turn them over or force them off of schedule. And sometimes you can do that, and it can mitigate a team that isn't all that good, but when you're giving up the big plays that they're giving up, it is the exact opposite of what the cover 2 base is designed to do.
Do you think maybe he made a mistake when he handed out his syllabus, and instead of bend, don't break, he wrote bend and break, and the players were like, hey, we need to bend and also break. And if you look at the number of plays they have right now, the Cowboys are giving up on defense on passing attempts, 9.4 yards per attempt, slightly better than the Bears' 9.9. But that 9.4 is fourth worst in the NFL. The Bears are second worst right now. They've also given up those big plays you mentioned, 8 passing yards of 20 or more. 8 plays of 20 or more passing yards. And then they have given up 4 plays of 40 or more yards. So that's big. And those are both worst in the NFL.
This is a get-well game, and I'm not making any predictions, but if you start saying, oh, the Bears will go 7-10 this year, this has to be one of the 7. You've got to get to 7 somehow. And this would a home game coming off of 2 losses with still relative health compared to how they're going to look in November and December, still relative health, that you got to win this game. And the defense is begging for you. The Cowboys defense is begging for you to get this figured out. And the good news is, because you know what you're getting, you're not going to see anything exotic. If you can block well enough, just run verticals. Stress their zone. Take the top off the zone. This is a get-well game. For all your, whether is DJ Moore unhappy that nobody's finding him, if Colston Loveland cannot play in this game, if he cannot contribute in this game, something is really wrong. Because he doesn't have to know much in this game. Run straight. Run the seam. Run the seam every time. Run the seam and put your hand up.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dan, but we don't know what the philosophy is going into this game with the tight ends. Are they going to be held back for protection like they did in the Vikings game? Has he not practiced hard enough to be a big enough part of the game plan? Because that was brought up.
No, let me answer the first part first. No, they're not going to be needed for protection because Matt Eberflus doesn't generally like to blitz. This is not Brian Flores. This is not a bunch of exotics that you're preparing for. This is a team where you can beat their blitz because people are open, throw it to them. It's happened to them all year. The Giants torched them. Absolutely torched them. The Bears should too.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the fact that they should, but their offense hasn't shown me enough to say that they can put together a complete game. And they're hurting themselves more than the defense is hurting them, the defenses they're playing against. They can't go a series without committing a penalty. They can't get out of second and long or third and long situations. If they don't move the ball on first down and gain some positive yards and they put themselves in a hole, they have not shown these two games to be able to fight against that. Now, the Dallas Cowboys defense is going to give them the opportunities to do so, but I also look on the flip side. I mean, this could be an ugly game as far as just points run up on the scoreboard on both sides of it.
Great, that makes it fun.
Where Dak, I mean, and ugly as far as an ugly defensive game.
But win a shootout. I don't mind. Hey, good old-fashioned country shootout.
Right, but what
Let's
about
do
this offense in these two games says that they can compete in a shootout?
Nothing.
Right, nothing.
But this is different because these defenses are worse.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's there for the taking, and it's basically a pick-em game if you look at it from a Vegas standpoint. I just don't know how the defense is going to keep the Cowboys from scoring and allow the Bears offense to stay out of its own way and get more points on the board to be more productive.
And just don't lose the turnover battle. If you're giving away possessions, you're in trouble. So if they take care of the football and they can pass protect, they should win this game.
Dak Prescott has thrown for 549 yards. That's fifth best in the league through two games. Completion percentage near 70, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, a rating of 89. First down plays, they throw about 31% of the times. They've had 5 plays of 20 yards or more through passing. He's been sacked 3 times. So for loss of 18 yards. So, I mean, they haven't gotten to him quite a bit in those 2 games. He does have the ability to throw the ball downfield. And I think CeeDee Lamb is going to go off like crazy this weekend. I just do. Tell me who's going to guard him. Who's going to prevent him from getting 200 yards, 300 yards this game? They're going to have the ability to throw the football. I can't see the Bears defense stopping them from scoring, and I can't see the Bears offense getting out of its own way to match those points.
I want to hear Dennis Allen tomorrow because Thursday is coordinator day. Mm-hmm. And maybe he's just kind of not used to the way things work. But I didn't like it last week when he got a little pissy with the media over continuing to ask him questions about the previous game. So he'd better understand.
Wait, on his media availability day, he was mad because they asked him about the previous game, even though they hadn't talked to him yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess you guys are still going to be asking questions about Minnesota. Because they've moved on to Detroit. Nobody cares. Nobody in that room with a tape recorder cares what you've moved on to, because there are questions about what happened in the fourth quarter of the previous game, and that was a historically bad defensive performance in the last game, one of the worst defensive performances in the history of the Chicago Bears. Does he really think that all the questions tomorrow are going to be about how they're preparing for the Cowboys and Dak Prescott? Does he really think that?
Yeah, they can't, especially when the NFC player of week 1 was the quarterback they won against, and the winner of week 2 is going to be Jared Goff.
It is. It already is.
Oh, did they name it? I'm sorry. I didn't even see that. I thought they hadn't named it yet. But the fact that you've gone against 2 quarterbacks and both have been named NFC player of the week, and especially after J.J. McCarthy looked awful in Atlanta and then suffered an ankle injury, but your 2 quarterbacks you've gone against have been an NFC player of the week.
And if you're not prepared to step up and answer those questions and or take blame and point the thumb at yourself and tell everybody what's going to get better and how it's going to get better, then that, especially for somebody who's been a head coach a couple of times already in the league, to not get that is weird. And why do we wait for Thursday to talk to coordinators?
I don't know.
Man, I just know that the way it used to be is the game's over, you talk to everybody.
Well, we'll talk to Courtney tomorrow. Courtney Cronin will join us here on Forward Progress, and we'll get a little from the inside perspective, her being around the team every day. Because I'm curious to know why there's all the virtual stuff takes place. Like Ben Johnson yesterday was Grady Jarrett and DeAndre Swift. I thought all that stuff was done like live at Hallis, but and maybe that's been going like that for a few years now.
I think it has.
Okay.
But I think that the coach should stand there in front of actual reporters on Monday. I don't know why that's maybe just everybody kind of said, oh, it's easier and we don't have to get in the car and drive up to Hallis Hall on a Monday.
Yeah, we'll ask her as we have her on the show tomorrow. The Cowboys right now through 2 games are gaining 6.4 yards per pass play, 5.1 yards per carry.
Okay.
Bears defense has given up 9.9, 31st in the league, and 5.3 on carries, 28th in the league. So again, it's going to be a shootout. I can't see the Bears offense cleaning it up enough to get out of their own way to score enough points to win the game Sunday at home.
The worry is penalties more than anything else, penalties and turnovers.
Yeah.
And if you avoid those, you're fine. If you stay on schedule against this team, you're going to have your spots. And he's going to have just enough time to drop back and find somebody running free, because there is no way that this defense, the way the Cowboys have it constructed and the way they have it game planned, can stop lots of vertical routes. This is a get well stat game. This is where if I'm Roma Dunze, I want 200 yards receiving and 2 more touchdowns to pad my total. That's how I'm going into this.
All right, then who guards CeeDee Lamb?
Well, you're going to have to
stops him from running up and down the field.
You're going to have to bracket him. Obviously, that it's that's not going to be a one-on-one, and I don't know if Dennis Allen can play cover 1 and not have more resources devoted to CeeDee Lamb. But that's okay. Just outscore him. Just don't settle for field goals.
Okay.
Don't settle for field goals. You got to win this game 43-42. Go ahead and do it, and just entertain the hell out of us for an entire afternoon.
Talking about the Bears secondary, there's only been, so far through 2 games, there's only been 1 pick 6 in the league so far this year.
Nahshon Wright.
Nahshon Wright was your guy. And I was looking up the next-gen stats. This is really interesting. His 74-yard interception return against the Vikings, against J.J. McCarthy, is the current 10th longest play in the NFL this season.
Huh.
At 88.7 yards. Looking up the next-gen stats. Do you do a lot of that? Do you look up the next-gen stats stuff a lot?
I don't generally look them up myself. If they're used in something I read to make a larger point, I certainly accept their validity as a data point. I don't look at next gen the way I look at StatCast or base or other more, the modern measurable baseball stats.
Yeah, I don't look. I haven't looked it up at all actually until this. When I was looking up stats here of Cowboys and Bears and saw that there's only been 1 pick 6 the entire season, knowing it was your guy, Nahshon Wright. I wanted to see where it fell in, and to see that it was the 10th longest play of the season was pretty interesting. But only 1 pick 6, and it's your guy. So hopefully he has an impact Sunday against Dak Prescott. I just don't know if they're going to be able to match the output that I think the Cowboys are going to put on the Bears defense.
We know the defense is going to be undermanned because Jalen Johnson is out. We're still waiting on imaging or decisions. I don't know if they've done the imaging
or just sharing the information.
Right. Or we might hear it from Johnson via Twitter, knowing him, and just have him say what if he's deciding to get surgery or not, or they're seeking other opinions. So TJ Edwards, week to week, so he's going to be out for a while. Kyler Gordon, week to week, going to be out for a while. Jalen Johnson is out. So Grady Jarrett was on a bad knee. We know that. So I don't know what the expectations are for him right now and what they're going to ask of him.
Well, he met with the media yesterday and was asked about his knee. He said his knee is doing well. As he went on to talk more about it, he said it's not 100%, treating his knee to mitigate the injury. On game day, though, he says, quote, ready to roll and put his best foot forward. Also says that it's not his first rodeo dealing with in-season mishaps. Got to do what you got to do until he gets all the way back to 100%. So that was what he said. So he has to do what he has to do until he gets all the way back to 100%. So we know he's less than 100%. It certainly has been evident in his play the first 2 games. I think we all expected to see a lot more. I just don't know, how long has his knee been bothering him for? Is it previous injury? Did he come into the Bears not 100% on that leg? And so he's clearly not 100% and says that he's not 100%.
Okay, so when does Shamar Turner play? You already cut Zach Pickens. Another top 3 pick from this team that's been cut.
Yeah.
So you got a second-round pick who's known for his aggressiveness. There are reasons why certain positions are complicated and people can't get on the field. Defensive tackle should not be one of them.
It shouldn't be, you would think, in their rotation for sure.
What is there? You don't have to know the playbook to be a defensive tackle. What's stopping him from getting on the field?
Well, again, we look back at what Ben Johnson talked about this week. Who wants to practice hard? Who wants to be involved in the game plan going Sunday? We don't know if that was, again, targeted at those 3 individuals or those names that were brought up, or if that was a blanketed statement for just the offense, or if it's for the entire team. So we don't know as far as the depth chart, guys that are reserves and backups, are they doing enough to get more playing time? Are like, who is not practicing hard? Who's not, what they've seen on film, who's not doing what needs to be done to get more playing time? And is it so bad that a less than 100% starter should get more of the snaps because the backup just isn't trying hard enough, isn't practicing hard enough? I don't get it. But in that one position, that should be the position where, get out on the field, stop the run, get the quarterback.
And we know we're going to see some guys who've been struggling who have to play. Tyreek Stevenson is your most experienced cornerback right now. And he gave up, I believe, a near perfect passer rating on balls that came his way in the previous game.
Yeah.
And that is, he's your number 1 corner, like it or not. And then it's Deshaun Wright. And after that, it's Nick McLeod. You keep seeing that name out there.
Nick McLeod?
It's a great question. Who is Nick McLeod? If we're already talking about essentially a Bears starter and we're asking who are you and what do you do, Nick McLeod is a 6'1", 191-pound cornerback who went to Notre Dame. He was an undrafted free agent out of Notre Dame in 2021, and he has been bouncing around the back ends of rosters since May of 2021. Buffalo, free agent there, waived. Waiver claim to Cincinnati, waived by Cincinnati. Practice squad in Buffalo. Activated for a game in Buffalo. Waived by Buffalo. Claimed by the Giants. Then got an RFA tender by the Giants. Actually played there a little bit. And then left the Giants to go to San Francisco and was on the practice squad there, activated for a little bit, and unrestricted free agent after last year, and the Bears signed him.
So he's a guy.
He's maybe a guy.
Maybe a guy, not even a guy.
No, he's usually he's the kind of guy who you see after you're really hurt. That's like December level hurt. When most practice squad guys, when the guys who are
not week 3.
Right, when the guys who are now driving an Amazon truck are going to be on a practice squad. The guys who are
go ahead. I'm sorry.
The guys who are doing actual jobs are eventually going to be on a practice squad near the end of the year.
Am I seeing this right? Did Turner not get on the field at all?
No, he was inactive.
Against the Lions? Oh, he was inactive.
Yeah. Yes, he was one of the Ryan Poles high draft picks who remained inactive.
Okay.
He had a 3rd-round pick in Amagaji, and you had 2 second-round picks in Turner and Trapillo.
Yeah, that totally slipped my mind. I don't get it, especially when he's not healthy. Like, Jarrett's just not healthy. How do you not have extra legs in that area of the field?
And I'm so tired. I'm so tired of these bad old free agent signings with the argument being made of, well, he's a leader in the locker room. That's always, you're telling me you think he's bad. He's not going to matter. You lead through your play. You lead through your example. You lead through what you're getting done on the field. What would Grady Jarrett be doing in the locker room? Come on. And they said the same thing about Keenan Allen.
But isn't a veteran player supposed to be helping the younger players? And how can the younger players get better and learn from that guy if they're not playing?
Yeah, you don't. If a guy's sitting in the tub, what do they learn?
Right. How to take care of injuries.
Right. What do you learn?
Yeah.
What do you learn? Stop signing 30-year-olds. It rarely helps. It rarely works to your advantage. And it's often just a sign of a team in bad shape. It's a team that's drafted badly when you have to sign 30-year-olds. I mean, even Joe Thuney, it's a left guard. He's a Pro Bowl level left guard for some time. That is just a minimal impact on your team above replacement level left guard. You'd rather have it. It's better, but that's another one. You have veteran leadership. We fall for that okie doke all the time. It's a young man's game, more so than ever. Twitchier, faster, more explosive, younger.
Yeah, I was going to say, instead of signing the older veterans to be leaders, maybe draft football players that can play on your team immediately. That
Correct.
might be the better route to go. Someone should point that out to Ryan Poles. Hey, draft guys that can start. Maybe in definitely the first round, definitely the second, maybe the third round. Maybe those guys are guys that should be starting on your football team. And leave the grizzled veterans elsewhere and have those young guys that can play an entire season and impact a game. Maybe have those guys play.
And there's usually a reason that those guys become available. Joe Thuney became available from the Chiefs because he was too old and expensive, and they had to make some decisions because they
signed their center, right?
Yeah, Creed Humphrey.
Yeah.
And they had another offensive lineman too in there whose name escapes me at the moment. But we always see this, and we always fall for the same thing. Well, he's a great talker and he's been so productive. Okay, well, what is he at the moment? What is he now? How does he help? And I hope Grady Jarrett comes back and contributes and is terrific. But right now, all your team leadership is a guy who's limping around the field.
Yeah, and he just said yesterday he's not 100% and is working his way back to get to 100%. Great. And maybe that happens in a few weeks. Maybe it doesn't this year because of age and trying to play through it. He never gets to 100%. Again, that just add that to the list of things that the general manager who's here through 2029 has done as far as free agency is concerned.
All right, something else that has to happen this week, I think, is figuring out how to properly deploy your running backs to make them something other than the least effective in the league. Is that too much to ask?
No, it's not too much to ask, but again, there are just so many issues to clean up on the offensive side of the football. There's too many things to fix in this game. And
I would say commit to the run and pound away at the run, but this is the wrong game for that because their pass defense is where you can clobber them, and they're going to come out in the zone, and you can just crack the zone, crack their zone.
But how do you know that the Cowboys' front four won't create enough pressure to disrupt what they want to do passing-wise? I mean, if you're asking to take the top off and get downfield. Yeah, they haven't yet, but they haven't played the Bears' offensive line yet either.
Well, it's funny because I think the Bears' offensive line would be okay if I trusted their left tackle, and I don't because I think you just push him back the moment the ball is snapped. You don't have to be fancy with Braxton Jones. He's just his ass is too high in the air. His pad level gets high. He doesn't have his feet underneath him, and you can just push him back into the quarterback every time.
Okay. And so that says pass protection how?
Well, you can move Caleb Williams away from that side.
Or you can have your tight ends there to help, correct?
Yeah, but
then
takes
you're them away from the passing game.
Yeah, you're already done. You got to get them down the field. This is a Colston Loveland breakout game, is what this has to be.
I hope so. Maybe that's a number we can look at for our picks for tomorrow.
I'll be really interested to look at that number because this
Today's
absolutely should be, because he doesn't have to do anything. Just be a wide receiver. Be a big wide receiver, and number 84 should be in the middle of the field with a matchup against a linebacker in the zone and using his body and his ability to shield him off and just get the ball there and let him make some plays on it.
Yeah, and that's why I'm excited tomorrow to talk to Courtney about that question she asked Ben Johnson when he gave us the whole answer of guys aren't practicing hard enough. We'll see who wants to practice hard to be part of the game plan for Sunday. Is he one of those guys? Is that why in the first 2 games we haven't seen him make an impact and even be part of the packages that are used to move the ball downfield?
I don't know. I hope they're looking at it the way we're looking at it. And this goes back to the question that we've had about the Bears coaches and what are they seeing and what were their expectations. I mean, I'd love to know. We said this after the first game, but I would really like to know how this tracks with where they thought they were coming out of camp and whether all the rhetoric was just kind of whistling into the wind or whether they really believed it, that they believe that there's no reason why we can't win now. I see a ton of reasons why they can't win now. Did they see those things at the end of training camp?
Well, Dan, everything they've shared with us about training camp, it was a great training camp, and the defense was great. We get the first game that was very winnable that they choked away with the defense in the fourth quarter, and we still got Ben Johnson saying he's learning who Caleb Williams is. He's getting to know the players still, but I can't imagine that they came out of training camp and said, "Yeah, it's going to be a real mess." Like, there's no way they thought that. Maybe they didn't think, we could win now, but there's no way that after 2 games that he's sitting around going, this is kind of what I thought we were going to be. This is the team that I saw in training camp. This is what I thought we put out on the field when the games matter. There's absolutely no way.
See, I don't think so either. And I don't think when Ryan Poles sat down with Ben Johnson and made his pitch, and I know Johnson said, I want the job. Do you think Poles said, hey, this is a heavy lift. We've got a long way to go here. Our roster is not as competitive as we need it to be. We've had some misses here, and it's going to take some time to put this back up among, certainly within the division where we're going to be competitive day in and day out. So, hey, Ben, get Caleb on the right track. Get him fixed. We'll work on everything else, but the most important thing you can do is reclaim and restore Caleb Williams.
I don't think so. No,
I don't think so either.
Yeah,
I don't think so either.
Because Ryan Poles hasn't shown me a consistent ability to evaluate talent properly. So there's no way he sat down and had that conversation that, hey, this is a heavy lift. Get Caleb Williams on the right track. That's our main goal for this year. He went out and spent money on the interior of the offensive line. He brought in defensive players that he thought were going to have an impact with an offensive line to have an impact to win games this year. There's zero shot that he sat down with Ben and said, it's going to be a heavy lift. Your main goal is to get Caleb right. Zero chance at that.
Yeah, and ironically, the Bears' off seasons have been where they make the most news, and in large part
because they win every off season.
Sadly, though, they don't win the most important part of the off season.
Getting the right players? What do you mean?
Draft night.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean that's been consistent with him as the GM, and yet he's here through 2029 for more drafts. Yeah, we have 26, 27, 28, 29, 4 more drafts. That's a potential of how many players a draft? What do you get average? How many players they bring in? 8 to 10 to 12?
Well, depending on undrafted free agents, yeah, depending on how many of those picks you trade away.
Okay, so let's
7 or 8
conservative. Let's say 24 more players, and that maybe 2 become starters, 3. What's his numbers at?
And how many Pro Bowlers?
None.
0.
0 Pro Bowlers.
0, and they just lost their 1.
Yes. Yeah, your best player on defense is gone for the year most likely. In that injury that is completely unrelated to the previous injury that he had.
I think the narrative of the season changes with a win, even if it is just, by the skin of their teeth, 38-33 win. They need it so badly. They shouldn't need it this badly. But this whole Bears thing is too desperate, too soon in the season, too soon for these coaches. And I don't want to hear, well, it takes time, and it took a while with the Lions. That was an organization in a very different place. And if they're honest about it, it's different. If they say, if this were Theo Epstein, who walked in and said, hey, basically, it's going to be ugly for a while. I can write your columns for you. I know what you're going to say, and I'm prepared for it. And if you go back and actually listen to that press conference, it's hilarious. Because he basically said, you're all going to act like idiots. I know you're going to act like idiots. Don't pretend you're not going to act like idiots, because you're going to pretend to not understand what's going on, but we understand what was going on. That was such a whip your dick out moment. And go back, and then all the people who collected everything that was said, like, this guy doesn't walk on water, this guy does this, this doesn't make any sense. Why are they losing so much? You don't recover from losing, you learn how to lose. Losing becomes cultural. And they win the World Series.
Right.
But the Bears didn't do any of that. The Bears are not saying, we're committing to Ben Johnson, we're committing to Ryan Poles, they're on the same timetable.
We're committed to Caleb Williams.
Just be patient. It's going to take time, but it will get there.
Because you know who does that? General managers that build their team through the draft. And Ryan Poles has been unable to do that, and yet he has 4 more drafts to do that for the Chicago Bears. His ability to successfully diagnose and assess talent has just been bad. Bad, whether it's free agency or it's through the draft. He has not been good at evaluating talent. He's just not. Tell me I'm wrong, and I can give you a list of players to show you that it's not incorrect.
Well, he can't be wrong about the quarterback. He can't. He cannot be wrong.
But here's the thing though. If he is wrong on Caleb Williams, he's not the only one in that area. Now there are some that said Caleb's not going to be the guy that they think he is, but a majority of people, including us, thought that he would be that guy at the NFL level.
Okay, let me bring this up just to kind of rub salt in the wound here that you're kind of
good. Thank you.
That you're just as long as you're just kind of picking at this, I might as well do this. Do you see the numbers for Tyler Warren? I want you to look. I believe he's among the best, the Colts tight end, who so far, I think he's up there, and he was nominated for NFL Rookie of the Week for the second week, and this was the tight end that everybody wanted. Think he had 4 receptions, 79 yards, some critical catches in the win over the Broncos. And I think he's got like 155 yards or something like that total.
He is
11 catches.
16 targets, 11 receptions, 155 yards. He's averaging 14.1, a long of 41. He has 2 carries, and he has no touchdowns, though.
But can this happen in consecutive years where there's somebody better at the position you draft in the first round, like immediately after you draft?
Yes.
That's horrible. That's horrible. And it's something I've always done in the NBA. I remember I took a whole afternoon because somebody asked me to do this, and it was called the next guy theory. And it wasn't basing your pick against everybody available in the draft. It was your pick against the next guy. And it's easier in basketball because positions don't quite mean as much, especially now in the NBA. Everybody can score and rebound and dribble and shoot and all that stuff. So it's how effective have you been with your pick compared to the very next guy.
Okay.
Very next guy picked.
Yeah, I like that.
In football, you'd have to change it a little bit because of positionality and because of the very specific nature of what everyone's. It's not apples to apples, but if in consecutive seasons with your pick you take the wrong guy at that position, that's really damning.
When was your guy Bucky Irving selected? Wasn't he a 4th round pick?
Yeah, running back.
Yeah.
You get running backs anywhere.
Yeah, but I'll have to look it up here. But was he taken, if you could recall, ahead of or after the Bears selected the punter?
Oh, don't even start with that.
Oh, okay.
They've drafted 2 punters now.
Then take it back. I won't even start then. Sorry.
They've drafted 2 punters. This punter was the next special punter who can change everything and flip the field and be an incredible weapon, just as they're changing all the kickoff rules, so he doesn't really have to do that. And then he hasn't even been that good at the actual punting part of things. You drafted 2 punters.
Yeah, you took a punter in the 4th round.
Yeah.
A team that just had so many glaring holes.
Well, and now in Jake Moody, their emergency kicker or their kicking threat to the guy who's supposed to be there to scare Cairo Santos and being good, was he a 4th round pick? Was he a 3rd round pick?
Oh God, was he really?
Jake Moody out of Michigan? Yeah, he was supposed to be.
I think he might have been, yeah.
I think he was.
I think he was, you're right.
Because he was the kicker of kickers who nobody had seen anything like this coming out in forever. Yeah, 3rd rounder.
Yeah, good call.
2023, Jake Moody was a 3rd round.
How do you remember that?
It's only because I when they got him, I was shocked that a 25-year-old kicker with his pedigree was available, but he went mental. And they even said it. Like it was in his head and he just needed to change the scenery and the booter got booted.
Oh man. All right, Tyler Scott, 4th round pick.
God. Yeah, don't you're gonna make yourself really miserable if you start to do this.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you're going to make yourself miserable.
Well, Dan, he's got four more drafts to go for the Bears. 4 more.
I mean, contractually
speaking, yes, he does. And I like you just cannot have confidence that he has the ability to assess talent properly.
Ben Johnson is meeting with the media as we speak, and this quote is already circulating. Ben Johnson, quote,
"No one practiced hard. We're not playing Sunday."
Quote, "Our practice habits are yet to reflect a championship caliber team."
Okay, we got into this a little bit yesterday, and we talked about reasons why guys don't try hard, and you put out a list of good reasons behind it. When is it that players don't listen to coaches?
Usually when they think the coach is a complete idiot, when they think the coach is going to be fired, or at the end of a season that's kind of over, and they don't care as much anymore.
Okay. Let me here. Stay with me for a second, because my wife, she watches football with me. And we've always watched Bears games together, but she has never gotten into the NFL or Bears stuff on a deeper level. But she has this year because of our podcasts. She listens to the podcast and she's more in tune with what's happening with the Bears.
Okay,
yeah, she's going to hold that against me, and that's fine. She's been an executive for over a decade in cybersecurity and tech companies, okay? Mm-hmm. And so she works with a lot of leaders. She's been an executive that has worked up and has worked, parallel with executives and leaders, helping leaders become better leaders. We're having this conversation yesterday, and she says to me just what she hears and sees of Ben Johnson. She just doesn't feel like he's a good leader. That he seems too quiet and too meek and doesn't have, as she put it, what a good leader has to be a good football coach.
Well, I do this with trepidation. I don't agree with her yet.
Okay.
I don't see that. His first press conference was an absolute perfection.
Okay, but why though, Dan? What were you comparing it to? Why did it make you feel that way?
Well, I wasn't directly comparing it to Matt Eberflus, but I thought I thought he came into this job saying everything right, taking accountability, talking about the size of the job, talking about where he was going to start, what mattered. Answering every question directly. He spoke in complete sentences.
See, you're comparing though.
Yeah.
You're comparing. Okay,
I'm not ready. I'm not ready to go there yet. It's too soon.
I'm not saying you have to, but I'm just taking. I mean, her years, 20 years of corporate experience and working with leaders in big companies. I mean, these are known name companies, and looking at just from a leadership standpoint. And she's really good at it. She's really good at what she does.
I know.
Can meet with leaders and say, "Yep, this guy's got it. This guy doesn't. This gal's got it. This gal doesn't." She says that about him. It frightens me. It bothers me that's what her vibe is. That's her little spidey sense goes off.
Okay, well that's noted. I mean, that's obviously that is duly noted, and I certainly hope she's wrong. If we're already talking about the fundamental essence of leadership, that should be determined at the job interview. I didn't see anything that suggested that to me. There's all kinds of personality types that can succeed in the NFL. Not everybody has to be Dan Campbell.
Yeah, and
not everybody has to be Bill Belichick.
Right, and that's not what it is. It's not like there's not enough fire and passion. He's not meatball-y enough. That's just not it. It's just the way that it's presented.
Okay.
It just doesn't feel. So now let me go back. His opening press conference, you said you nailed it, loved it, everything was great about it. Compare that to where we're at now, what you've heard and seen. What's the dichotomy there?
Well, it's very different in that he talks a lot about body language, and his body language has been bad. They talk about attention to detail, making sure that everything nothing goes uncoached in a practice. And we're not seeing that translate to effectiveness on the field or discipline on the field. I see an undisciplined team, and that is often a sign of whether it's bad practicing or lack of attentiveness from somebody. And to see that quote today, our practice habits have yet to reflect those of a championship caliber team. Why?
Why?
And more importantly, when did you decide that? Did you see that in May? Did you see that in August? When? And what did you do to change it or stop it? Is it only because you're 0-2? Had they not blown that lead on Monday night,
and they're 1-1,
is he saying that? Like,
no.
That's how much of this is outcome bias?
I don't know. I don't know. It's a great question, but everything we heard about training camp was it was great. He even said it the other day that they're not living up to the standard or playing the standard of football that they were presenting and showing defensively in training camp, going against the Bears' fucking offense.
Yeah.
So now, going into week 3, you've decided your team hasn't shown the work ethic or the ability to be a championship level team. So what's happened since it was showing that to where it's not now, or was it never and you weren't being honest about it, or was it never and you just didn't realize it because you don't know yourself? Which is most frightening.
I was going to say, which you got to pick one of these, and I don't like my options, unfortunately. I didn't like the option, but I really would like to know, when you came to this conclusion about the practice commitment.
Say that quote again. What was the quote exactly?
All right, let me hold on.
Sorry.
You make me scroll.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot
Our
of work.
practice habits are yet to reflect a championship caliber team.
Our practice habits.
Our practice habits. Is that before practice? Is that meetings? Is it the kind of thing? I always remember some of these vivid Brian Billick things where he'd leave a candy bar wrapper next to a door in the hallway and see if it got picked up. Little things like this, like how tight is the operation? How much do people care?
So now we have that quote today with his quote from Monday talking about how guys aren't practicing hard enough. We're going to have a hard week of practice to see who wants to be part of the game plan on Sunday.
Right.
So now we get 2 days later, and it's just our practice habits.
Who? When?
Yeah.
How is it being addressed? But the problem is when you say that, you indict your whole roster. And
You do.
if I may
Yes.
and if I may just, I know you're a youth coach, but this is sort of from my experience. When publicly you indict the whole roster, privately, everyone knows you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Within the walls of Hallis Hall, I guarantee you've got whispering going on about who's dogging it at practice. Like, man, all our asses are getting called out because of that guy, or these guys, or this guy, and this guy, and now I'm part of this too. I'm here as a Chicago Bear, and now our practice. I'm not a champion, and I'm not practicing hard enough to be involved in the game plan because of this slug and this guy pouting over here, or this guy who we know isn't really hurt, but he's over there riding a bike. Like this is the kind of thing that contributes to losing cultures. This is the kind of thing that begins to eat at a team. 2 games into the season, when a coach is backed into saying our practice habits. Well, that's you too. It's the coaches who are in charge of the practice habits, and you start insinuating that without naming names and without making it clear, and all these other players are like, hey, I'm busting my ass out there every day at practice. And now with all these generalizations, I'm dragged into it.
And
these
how much of this could be a defense mechanism from a head coach, a first-time head coach who's 0-2 and really in ugly fashion, that, hey, it's not me or it's not us. Like, hey, we're out here doing all the right things. We're putting game plans in place that they're not executing, and it starts with the practice. That no one's practicing hard and our practice habits are bad. Is this a shot at the general manager? He put this roster together, and it indicts an internal leadership issue too. If you look back at Lovie Smith's Bears, if there were guys out of line, there's the internal cops that are putting their foot down. Olin Kreutz would have put his foot right up your ass, whether you were defense or offense. He'd have come after you. He'd have told you that bullshit's not going to happen here. Who's doing that for the Bears? You have the natural leadership positions, and the center is new. The quarterback is young and hasn't performed up to the level that he said he would, that everyone thought he would. So who's your internal leadership? Jalen Johnson's out and hurt. He's your best player. DJ Moore, he seems more upset about lack of individual stats than overall team stuff. Your running backs aren't going to be vocal. So who's your internal leader?
It should be Cole Kmet. That's the guy who's been publicly available after wins and losses, always seems to have something constructive to say. I think he's been honest. On the teams that I've covered, it's almost always an offensive lineman.
Yeah, and 3 are new. 2 are like their positions have been questioned for most of their careers here, with the Bears.
Yeah, the teams that I've covered,
think a guy like Grady Jarrett, he's vocal, but he's not producing enough, and he's new.
He's in the tub.
So who is the internal leaders on this team? That is part of a winning culture. That shit doesn't slide when you have someone in the locker room step up and knock this shit off.
Well, that is an interesting move on the part of Ben Johnson today to toss the entire team there. Our practice habits, the whole team, not championship practice habits. Well, that's on you too. That is
maybe he's talking about the coaching staff. Maybe they're showing up late to practice and
forgetting to wear pants,
eating candy bars.
Yeah, smoking cigs. I don't know, but that is. Well, we'll see where this goes tomorrow. We'll see what some of the reaction is, because immediately, if I'm reporting, the moment I hear that, the moment there's open locker room,
you're going and talking.
Oh,
who are you talking to?
I'm talking
anybody and everybody.
Everybody and everybody. So coach just said in practice habits, are you seeing that? Do you feel you've been your practice habits? That's what you do. You ask everybody, are your practice habits a championship caliber? Are you seeing anybody else's practice habits that aren't? Like you got to go in there and follow this immediately.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll get some more insight, too, tomorrow when we have Courtney Cronin on the show. She'll visit us here for Forward Progress, and really looking forward to talking to her and getting her perspective from being there and being around it, and getting a better vibe of seeing guys talk and hearing guys. So excited to have that conversation tomorrow.
And also, we're going to talk a little bit, too, about the Tom Brady conflict of interest and how silly the whole thing is, about how we're putting the TV product in front of the football product in some ways for no apparent reason to accommodate somebody who isn't even all that good at the job that he's being asked to do.
Right, and especially it's really bothersome when there are so many good ones out there.
Yeah. Yep, and we're going to see if he's gaining all sorts of important knowledge as when he's in there with the headset on in the Raiders coaching booth, and now he gets to talk to all the powers that be within the Chicago Bears to learn their special football secrets. That's all stuff.
Yeah, because we get Tom Brady this week, so that's exciting. Very exciting. Another spotlight game for your Chicago Bears.
And that is Forward Progress.